Welcome to Obsolete and Emerging Technologies. First, we're going to look at the obsolete technology of Sony Mini Digital Cassette Camcorder. Using McLuhan's Tetrad, the little mini digital cassette camcorder made life easier. It took the cost down and allowed users to record their memories portable. It was usable by everybody. It made obsolete the larger, clunky VHS recorders that were carried around. It reversed and set the stage again for its own replacement. The need for a flash memory recorder was delivered in 2004. After 2005, it could take stills and video recording to an internal memory and removable card. Later, it retrieved an older medium. Looking back, the older medium would be the Portapak. It was introduced by Sony in 1967. This was the Educ7108 Video Rover. It only shot black and white and was in two separate pieces, yet it was light enough for a single person to carry it around. The emerging technology would be a flash memory camcorder dependent on an SD card. The flash memory camcorders enhance every technology, extending or amplifying some organ or faculty of the user. How? They allow users to take stills and videos they recorded much more reliable to an SD card or internally, and they were in high definition as well. They made obsolete the mini digital cassette corders. They reversed and set the stage for their own replacement. Although portable phones are being created with camcorder capabilities and on-the-spot editing tools, some smartphones have editing apps as well. Movies can be produced on the spot and shared with social media. They retrieved the older medium of a Portapak, which was introduced in 1967 by Sony. This was the DV2400 Video Rover. It only shot in black and white and was in two separate pieces, yet it was light enough for a single person to carry it around. First, we met with decision maker Joel Hartley, who works for Marion County Public School Board and helps and assists teachers in equipping their studio with the most current equipment to be the most effective and productive teacher. The television studios he helps equip are in the high schools and middle schools and elementary schools.
My name is Joel Hartley. I am a photographer, actually, what is our title? Photojournalist video editor. My name is Joel Hartley. I'm a photojournalist video editor with the Marion County School System. I'm also a freelance videographer working for various regional sports networks. I've been with the school system almost 12 years now, and I've been doing the freelance work on the side for about 8, and before the school system I worked for 5.5 years for a local ABC affiliate. So about almost 20 years total. Our school district has a department, the department I'm in is Television Media Productions. We handle all the video production needs for the school district. We make a half-hour show every month called Classroom Connection. We do training videos, PSAs, we televise school board meetings, special events like our teacher appreciation, the Golden Apple, the Student Media Festival. It's kind of our Emmys or Oscars for student video productions. We put on that show. So really any television, video, or audio, any multimedia need the district has for video or sound comes through my department. The most important things I have are obviously the video camera. It's a Panasonic P2 camera and a Mac editor with Final Cut. It also has Adobe Premiere on it. Those are the most important pieces. Along with that, we've got light kits. We even have a camera crane, a jib, that we use for our live productions, a 15-foot jib. Various other components, DVD duplicators, soundboards, this, that, and the other. But the most important, the one that I'm always going to have with me, is a camera, tripod, and then I'm going to take all that stuff to my editor, a Mac desktop with Final Cut. Actually, we still use Final Cut 6 and the new Adobe Premiere system. We do still have a couple of cameras that use the mini DV tapes. They are typically used for checkout. They were originally purchased because they shot high definition. They were our first HD cameras, and we used them for a few special productions. It didn't really make a lot of sense at the time to shoot high def, because we could shoot high def, we could edit high def, but we weren't outputting anything in high def. Since then, we've started uploading our videos to YouTube. We've started doing a little bit more things in high def, but those cameras have kind of gone by the wayside. They're used mostly for checkout equipment when people need a good quality camera, not just a little handy cam to record something at a school or do their own little personal project. That's something else that I do in my job, is I'm in charge of checking out some AV equipment that the district has. Those mini DV cameras are generally used as checkout equipment for employees' special projects. We never had a mini DV camera in our studio, at least not on a very regular basis. Now, we did use DVC Pro. Before we went to the P2 cameras that we use now, we used kind of one of the broadcast formats, which was DVC Pro. Very similar to the mini DV. As a matter of fact, we have an adapter that we can take a mini DV cassette, put in this adapter, and put into a DVC Pro deck and play it back. So they're very, very similar. We used mini DV or DVC Pro cameras from the time I started until probably about 5 or 6 years, and then we started to move to the P2 cameras. We used a DVC Pro camera in our studio until just a couple of years ago, but now we go through our P2 cameras, we route our studio cameras into a TriCaster. We've really gotten away from pretty much any type of cassette, even though we still have virtually all of those cameras. They're just in storage right now. I stopped using it simply because that technology we were kind of moving past that. We were using P2 cameras. Honestly, the main reason we stopped using it was we had 3 Panasonic P2 cameras that all matched, and we had one Panasonic DVC Pro camera that, while it was very similar, when we'd set them all up together, the picture would be a little bit different from it. So we decided to just take it out of the mix and use all the same cameras, so the pictures were all balanced the same. Everything looked as identical as possible. That was the reason we took it out of the mix. Since then, it started to have some problem with the motors and gears. It still works as a camera. The camcorder function, not so much. So it was taken out because it didn't really fit with the others. But now that it's been out, it's not used as much anymore, simply because the motor for the tape mechanism started to go bad. What we use now are Panasonic P2 cameras. They're digital media, kind of an industry standard among broadcast cameras. Personally, for my freelance work, I use a JVC camera, which records to SD cards, Class 10 SD cards. It's got to be a high caliber card to record and be able to be written to fast enough. The P2 cards, they're exclusively video production. An SD card you can use for your still camera, you can use this, you can use that, so you have to be careful which card you get, that it can handle high def video being written to it that quickly. The P2 cards, you don't have to worry about that because all they're made for is video production. The drawback is they're only for Panasonic cameras. They're only made by Panasonic. They're relatively expensive. SD cards are a lot cheaper. They're more compatible with more different devices, so it's just easier to use the SD camera because it's, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more options. We moved away from using, in our case, DVC Pro, or in some cases the mini DV tapes. Moved away from that simply because that's the way the industry was headed. Our cameras are P2 cameras. My personal camera that I use for my freelance is, I have a mini DV camera, I have a DVC Pro camera, I also have the one I use the vast majority of the time records to SD cards. That's just the direction things are going. It's beneficial because there aren't the moving parts. With a tape camera, you've got the gears, you've got the motor, you've got the flywheels, you've got all those things that can wear out, can break down. With P2 cameras like we use, SD camera like I have, you don't have nearly as many moving parts. That's kind of the direction the industry's going. The other advantage to it is it's instantaneous. Whereas if I shoot something to a P2 camera, say I record an hour-long presentation, well, I can take that card out, pop into the reader, pull it off of the reader in couple of minutes. If I take a cassette, pop that into a deck, if I recorded it for an hour, it takes an hour to move that, to play it back at regular speed into my editor. And this is all kind of driven by the news industry. Well, when you shoot something, you don't want to have to sit there for an hour to get it off of your tape into your computer to edit with. You want to be able to plug a card in and go. It's just much quicker. The moving parts aren't there, so the cameras and the equipment's a little bit more durable. It's more expensive, but it's more durable and it's more immediate, and that's kind of where everything is headed. In addition to going away from the DVC Pro and Mini DV tape cameras and going to P2 cameras, for example, our school board meeting, we have cameras, they go back to a production truck. Production truck outputs it for a live broadcast. It also outputs it to a computer to be recorded so we can put it on YouTube later, as well as a DVC Pro deck that rolls to back everything up in case the computer were to crash, because hey, that happens. That is one advantage to tape cameras over computer cameras. Card cameras are essentially computers. While motors and gears and things can go out in tape cameras, you can have a crash with a card camera. I actually lost quite a bit of material one time because my P2 card got corrupted. If you have a hit on a tape, you can cut that section of tape out, splice it together, and keep going. You get a problem with the digital card, if it gets corrupted, unless you spend a lot of money with data recovery people, everything on there is gone. So tapes do have a little bit, they have their own advantage over card cameras, but for the most part, cards are vastly superior. But what I was saying about our production equipment, when we do a live production, cameras go through a switcher and everything, and it's output for a live broadcast, also output to a computer to record, which we would then put on YouTube later and make a DVD copy for the record. It also goes to a DVC Pro deck to record as a backup to everything else. We're even going away from that into our new setup in the studio, or in the school board meeting room, is going to be remote controlled cameras that are going to go through a switcher, and they're going to go into a TriCaster. That serves as the switcher, it serves as the computer to record, it can serve as the audio mixer, it can serve as the graphics computer. So in the past, where you had to have this big truck with all these cameras feeding to an audio board, feeding to a video switcher, feeding to a character generator, and all those different components coming together and outputting to something else, now they make, NewTek makes a device called a TriCaster. It's a box, it's the size of a personal computer. It controls, it is your switcher, it is your mixer, it is your character generator, it is your recorder, it is, if you have some vignettes or anything that you want to insert into your production, it's your playback machine. Just like cameras go from larger cameras that have the tapes, which require the motors and the gears and everything. Well, now that we go to the digital media, you don't need the motors, so the cameras get a little bit smaller. Same thing with live production. You don't need the switcher and the mixer and the CG and the this and the that. A TriCaster does it all in one piece.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Harold. I am one of the technology teachers at Osceola Middle School in Ocala, Florida. I have been at Osceola for 10 years, the last 5 of which I have been teaching computer applications, Microsoft Office, digital design, and journalism to middle school students grades 7 and 8. The most important pieces of hardware technology that I use, of course, are desktop computers, and now we've introduced Dell Windows 8.1 tablets. We use still and video cameras, scanner, and occasionally we use the students' cell phones to take pictures or videos. As the teacher, I also use a projector and a Wacom digitizer tablet. I don't have a mini digital camcorder at the present time. In fact, I have not ever used one in the classroom. First, because we did not have the equipment in our school and budget constraints prevented purchasing. I did, however, rent a Digicam I did, however, rent a Digicam for personal use and found it interesting to use but a bit cumbersome. In place of the mini digital cassette camcorders in my classroom, we occasionally use a Sony handheld digital video recorder. We use this primarily because of the price and availability of the camera, the size of the camera and its weight, and the portability of both the camera and the associated memory devices. It's easy to access the videos. We don't need any additional equipment to read, and we have it immediately without rewinding and fast forwarding. It's a shorter learning curve for the students. I'm thinking of replacing the handheld with using cameras on tablet devices for capturing video, and this will allow the editing of the video right on the tablet. I'm also investigating purchasing a GoPro type of camera to provide an additional resource for the students to capture video. I plan to implement using the tablets during this current school year, 2015-2016, and will probably introduce the GoPros toward the end of the school year.
My name is Joanne Yates. I'm currently employed by Orange County Public Schools as a classroom teacher. I've worked for Orange County Public Schools in various positions for the past 29 years. Most recently, I've spent the last 2 years working in one of our district's technology pilot schools teaching kindergarten, meaning that all of our students had one-to-one devices and we were expected to incorporate technology into basically all of our lessons. What does my job entail? My job entails instructing kindergarten-age students in all subject areas. I'd like to say it was allowing the students to explore and create on their individual devices, but the reality is we use our smart boards the most for the delivery of instruction. Our dock cams, of course, and when we have time, students are put on either computers or iPads, whatever devices we have, and given an opportunity to work on pre-written programs. There's not a lot of opportunity for the younger students to go in and explore and be able to create on their own, which is fine because they're young at this point and they're still learning. No, I haven't owned a mini digital camera or camcorder since the early 90s. I've purchased several over the years for personal use, which means that I also included them in my classroom. As one model or another would break and something more advanced would come out, I would, of course, get an updated camera. I had quite the collection from over the years. As I stated, the new, more sophisticated equipment became available. I moved on to the newer and better thing. I currently have a Panasonic digital that offers me the option of a hard drive storage or the SD card. And even with this camera readily available, I quite often I find myself recording my students with my iPhone. And your next question says, why? Well, because, I would have to say the convenience is the biggest reason for my most recent switch. The iPhone offers good quality digital recording, and it has many options for saving and sharing my recorded work. It is also always on me and ready to go. So when kids are doing something cute or kids are doing something they shouldn't, I can very quickly pull it out, hit a button, and send it on to a parent or share it with a principal or whatever I need to do. Have I thought about replacing it with another item? Not at the moment. For now, if I'm doing a very specific project, I'll continue to pull out my Panasonic and record, with a tripod and those type things. And for those spur-of-the-moment videos that I want to share with a parent or Other teachers, my administrators, I'll just pull out my handy dandy iPhone and do my thing. I'll have to admit, I'm definitely a geek and I like new toys. So when something comes out that intrigues me, the latest and the greatest, then I won't be the one standing in line waiting for it to come out or the pre-buys, but I typically am one of those that purchases it within a few months of it coming out new.
The flash memory camcorder gained popularity for reasons such as instant movies, less chance of technical issues, and it was more durable. The mini digital cassette camcorder was not always dependable. It was very time consuming and had an audience that wanted things now. The cassette could not produce the now. An SD card, fast and simple. The buyers needed compact and guaranteed video to edit immediately. Of history. The mini digital cassette camcorder and flash memory camcorder, the new technology is a fresh emergence of the impact felt many years before. They come from another technology to take a picture and capture a memory. Paintings of people and Indians using juices from berries and fruits to make pictures that tell stories is now done digitally. Science fiction. Mini digital cassette camcorders and flash memory camcorders come from the ideas of science fiction. Cameras are equipping things such as drones, accessories, and so much more. In Paycheck, they had a button camera that transmitted remotely. Number 4, disruptive technology. A new technology suddenly appeared and created a brand new way of thinking about a technological task. The GoPro camera took the use and perspective of a camera to a whole new level. The GoPro is an SD card camera. The smartphone also with camera enhancements such as panoramic attachment lenses and selfie sticks. These have all created competition and disrupting the camera. Looking at McLuhan's 6 ideas, there is no increasing returns for the mini digital cassette camcorder and flash memory camcorders. Apply the Red Queens between the mini digital cassette camcorders and the flash memory camcorders. One of the side effects has been the rise of the popularity of smartphones as a decline in compact camera sales. In the first 9 months of 2014, global camera shipments from Japanese manufacturers dropped by 1/3. The rise of smartphones has given a great competition to the development and technological advances of the camcorders. What does the future hold? Cameras will have to be equipped with internal memory and have Wi-Fi connection. Smartphones and other portable devices with built-in cameras will drive the digital camera market a steady competition. Most have responded by concentrating on cameras that offer something that the cameras on phones generally don't. Extensive zoom ranges, waterproof construction, traditional controls, larger sensors, and higher-end features. Wi-Fi connectivity is also fast becoming an essential in a compact camera to allow quick and easy image upload to a phone and subsequent sharing on Facebook and Twitter, etc. Future cameras will add features to increase their popularity in buyer's market. Photographers could wink or use a voice command to tell the camera to record a photo. The next generation of cameras will be sleek and more compact. Cameras will continue to advance, but smart devices will be in the shadows lurking for a very long time due to the ease and built-in camera abilities.